What's that?
All right, we are now recording.
Right. Well, because John, we post this to YouTube so people can see that we fairly decided it, that we do it anonymously. We don't look at, anybody's names because a number of the people are also part of the Caption contest group who enter. And we got a letter from someone saying that the fix was in, that we were paying off these people with vast amount. We were letting them win, and so it was going on. So we showed them that that's not going on. So we look at the captions. One of the things that's always interesting is we all select what our favorites are. I guess about how many came in this time? About
it's like 356 entries is what I had. So
yeah, so usually, for the New Yorker contest, you usually have 5,000 or so. But on the other hand, you know, like 4,600 are terrible. So we figure that we actually have the good. No, we get decent captions actually because the people are sort of a self-selected group and stuff. So yeah, so let's get
if we're ready to get started, like always, everybody sent only me around top 10 in no order, and we've compiled them all here, and I will share for the first time. This time we have John's as well. So let me.
And then we'll ask John at the end what his original horrible caption was.
Yes, we do have that here.
Exactly.
So today was a pretty interesting one. We have Bob. Everybody's are all listed here. We did not get any that were 3 across our 5. It's every single one was only 2, so that we didn't really have an initial consensus. Previous.
Can you blow that up so we can see?
Yeah, I'll blow it up. I'll blow up the ones that we had 2 of
okay.
each, to start with. So these are the ones here that I think I have to go down first.
I'm not surprised because actually I liked about 30 of the entries. It took me a while to get down to my top 10. I thought there were a good number of decent entries.
I thought there were a good number also. Generally, I almost universally reject puns. Not because they're bad. They could be good puns. It's just that my taste isn't. I feel a pun just immediately ends there. You know what I mean? There's nothing more to say about it after you say, like for your one for 662 for the Viking a wedding. It's about time they settle down and raise the village. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, it sort of ends there. You know what I mean? It's like there's nothing more to say about it. There's no bounce, there's no space to it. And as Lawrence and I have discussed, and everyone discussed, you rarely see, sometimes more recently, just plain wordplay in a New Yorker caption.
Mm-hmm.
That appears in the magazine.
The voting will always lean that way toward a wordplay.
Yeah.
The voting always leans toward a wordplay.
The voting, and once there became crowdsourcing, puns became the most popular because on crowdsourcing, it's, you quickly decide funny, unfunny, somewhat funny. And puns immediately you say, yeah, that's a pun. That works.
Mm-hmm.
They raised the village. And we got a number of raised here too, right?
Yeah, we definitely did. Right. A lot of pillaging, a lot of hostile takeover. But yeah, I wanted to, before the captions, here's John's drawing.
Okay, so the other thing is I look at this and we look at this and say, first of all, what is actually happening?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what is actually happening? They have burst in here. The door is open, has been pushed open. They haven't just come here. Okay,
yeah, the water's
invaded. For me, and I mean that's how you drew it, John. They've come in, right?
Right.
And
this is after. Right.
So that has to be part of me, like the emotion of like what's happening. That something sort of bad is happening in a way to that, But so just taking account of all of it. But anyway, go ahead.
All right. So these I will. I'll read them off, and these are the ones that appeared amongst at least twice of ours. What's not to like? They're highly motivated, work well within teams, and are willing to travel.
Okay.
Uh,
So you always have to suspend, disbelief a little bit. So then my problem probably is they burst in.
yeah, no, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
might always behave that way, but yeah, this
Yeah.
one,
Right.
they're in acquisitions.
Okay. Yeah,
A little bit of a wordplay there, but
yeah, a little bit, but it's okay.
they demand gold, England, and a podcast. It's not laughing there so much, but I don't know who chose it. We can all fight for these after. Okay, you're unsubscribed.
I like the fact that you're reading them with feeling.
Yeah, I'll try to. I don't know where to put
I like that.
here. But this one, I guess, I'm assuming is about how difficult it is.
I sort of like, okay, you're unsubscribed. I like quite a bit because part of it is how I'm relating to my email.
Right.
Yeah, it's
And
definitely.
how this is actually almost it's not actually impossible to unsubscribe, but it's actually impossible to, when you look at your email at this point, to actually unsubscribe for what's coming in.
And
You
you're
can
never
unsubscribe
sure.
for one.
Yeah, you're never sure you unsubscribed either. It's like.
Yeah.
But my one thing I'll say about this is it's one of those where this meeting could have been an email, or it's something that you could kind of throw on a lot of ones.
Right. It doesn't have any.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So
But I do like this one, but it could be one like that. Live by the sword, die by the audit. If Google Translate is correct, they want our woman and our cattle.
I like that one.
Yeah,
that's actually good. I didn't have that. I realized that.
That one does incorporate virtually everything in the drawing.
Right.
It all started with the COVID beard competition.
I like that.
I had this one as I also grew lots of strange favorites.
I don't even know what that. Oh, I guess I do know what a COVID beard competition.
Yeah, and I think it's just over COVID, everyone grew weird beards and mustaches, and now it's turned into this scene. I have an update on the testosterone trials.
I really like that one.
Yeah, that one is fun.
I didn't even see that.
That was one of mine. And then the last, I had my doubts about a marauding Viking focus group, but the numbers are solid.
I don't know. It sort of ends like weekly.
Yeah. It's that they're a focus group, and somehow they work well for this marketing agency. Those are what we got there. We can now go and see if we want to fight for any or immediately remove any. Or Bob, I'll let you take the wheel here, or we can look at John's.
I'll tell you. I think we should have one word. Not the winner, but there should be one word play, and maybe it's not this, maybe it's another, because you like to give credit to the fact that is a category, and I mean that is a category, and it makes up a big chunk of this of the submissions, and you want to give the one that you think is, and you can make it win also. I mean, you don't want to rule it out, but I would say that the ones that is I'd say the one that's funniest in a way is the one that starts with if Google Translate is correct or is funny.
It's funny, yeah.
Oh, I think that's a great one. Yeah.
I mean, it's, in other words, it starts with just completely very formalistic language. And the other languages also, but then it ends with power and sex.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of its message. So it has that really nice sort of rhythm to it. And I think a decent joke is they demand gold, England, and a podcast, in terms of rhythm. It doesn't do a lot for me, but I would put it in there. And I think, anyway, I really like the Translate. And of course, I have an update on I guess, I feel the Translate is best because they're here demanding something.
Mm-hmm.
You say we have an update on the testosterone trials. Well, why are they there? Why did they knock down the door?
Well, I think that actually makes sense. He could have said, I have an update, and here's my kind of like, this is exhibit A. The guys came in, and they're always violent, so they're never going to just open a door. They're always going to barge in.
Yeah.
So I like testosterone trials a lot, actually.
Yeah, I like it too.
I can see that. So let's
but I do think the translate answers what is happening better.
Oh yeah, but we're looking for 6, right?
Yeah, that's the
testosterone trial. I guess I would say the translate is my favorite.
Well, let's get this down. Let's get this down to 6, and then let's fight for individual ones.
Just before are we including outsiders as well? Because Bob was saying that we could do some wordplay ones, and I had my bad pun. I always have one bad pun, and everyone always just sort of looks a little bit uncomfortable. This month's bad pun for me is so that's 3 coffees and 2 dozen Danish.
Okay, well, let me look.
That is bad.
That's 3 coffees and 2 dozen Danish.
Actually, that is okay. I see, because it's 3 of them. It's 3 of them, and it's sort of silly. It's sort of funny in a way. It doesn't actually. I think it extends the illusion a little bit in a funnier way than if you just talk about Vikings or the Viking teams and stuff. Are the Vikings Danish?
I mean, they're Norse. I mean,
are they Danish?
Oh, the historical accuracy card.
So they come in.
And we have to get one of the fact checkers in.
Yeah, the Norse mythology is definitely Finland and Sweden. The Denmark is right there. I mean, I could see them swapping for Danish, people. I actually do like the delivery of that one. So that is a good one to fight with. Well, let's go back. Let's knock out these 6. Let's get this to 6, and then let's boot it further here.
Cool.
I think one of them should. I think that I would go for they demand England gold in a podcast. I would do that as one of them.
It's got a nice rhythm.
They demand England gold in a podcast.
I mean, that would work as a, it would almost work as a kind of New Yorker kind of joke now, because it's like playing off of, and maybe it's playing off a little bit late, the whole podcast thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's a little bit late. It would like before podcast, it's a blog where that fits in, that fits in like the thing that you put in as the joke thing, as the placeholder, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a podcast or a YouTube thing, and maybe it's a whatever. I don't know whatever it is now.
Mm-hmm. John, is there one here that you want to pop out?
Yeah.
I liked the one we were all the Google Translate one's definitely the strongest one for me.
I agree. We're gonna bold that one. We're keeping that one in here.
So just to play it the other way, just because that's the way my brain works. The ones that don't work are what's not to like. That sort of fell flat, didn't it? Live by the sword, die by the audit. I found all the ones that were sort of audit related didn't work. Then we had lots of sort of variations on that theme, didn't we? Where there was so yeah, that didn't work.
I would agree that those are all weak ones. We can pop one of them out. The other one I think is a little not weak, but just formulaic. Is okay, you're unsubscribed, because I mean that could be Godzilla, that could be King Kong, and it could be almost anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna pop that out. But this is a pun. They're in acquisitions. If we're gonna, I know we're gonna keep.
Yeah. Is there one better than? Is there something?
There's another good play on words. I do like they're in acquisitions, and then this round of cuts will be brutal. That's not in the list.
This round of what?
This round of cuts.
Oh, cuts will be brutal. And the sack is one.
Yeah, that was one of mine. We've been sacked. Lawrence, as the workers demand a raise. We get some puns here.
Yeah, but you know what? The workers demand a raise is too close to the winning caption from a contest. Another one of John's cartoons about the Viking wedding.
Yeah.
So we should knock that out.
I sort of like they're in acquisitions because it's so mild.
Yeah.
It's so in the it's so mild and it sort of works. I like it's mild and ordinary in contrast to the sort of or looming violence of the theme, you know. And so I think that's okay for a wordplay one.
I appreciate the fact that they ended with a period instead of an exclamation point. Sometimes,
Yeah. We always give credit.
Well, because the guys at the desk are calm.
Right. So yeah, but that doesn't stop people from slapping
Yeah, no.
Right.
point at the end.
Yeah, no,
It drives me insane.
I don't know if the COVID stuff were beard competitions. People did grow strange COVID beards, but
it doesn't make any sense.
No, that one is.
It doesn't make any sense. Why have they burst into the room? It all started. I mean, you know, Lawrence and I have, to some extent, it doesn't have. You know, look at all the things you're disregarding that you say make sense.
Yeah, no, that one is.
Still, I don't. They all have beards, but now they burst in here, and so it's got to make some sort of sense. So I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's close to testosterone trials. The idea is growing a beard is manly, and then it just got out of hand.
And that's fun. Yeah, they're both funny in that way, and the other one plays the testosterone trials it's funny.
It loops it back.
If it doesn't quite, you know, it's still funny.
The trials loops it back to it being like an office setting and everything else. So
well, I think the word update really helps that too. You know, that there's an actual action involved in it.
Yeah.
So we have 6 here. We have 7 here. If we pop out one more, we can then look at some we want to fight for.
Well, we'll remember. Why don't we pop out? Live by the sword, died by the order.
Yeah, that doesn't make me laugh.
But in other words, does that make sense? They live by the sword.
Yeah, it's
clever. How are they dying by the audit? I mean, they've come in. The dynamic is the who's in power here are the marauders, the Vikings. Not that the 3 people there can audit them, and you know. I mean, I guess he's saying to them, live by the sword, die by the order. I mean, it makes some sort of sense. But
it does. But I think it's probably the weakest of the ones we're considering. Yeah. Although I have to say, I maybe get overruled here. I don't care for the gold one.
For the what?
The one that includes the word gold. I can't remember how it goes.
Oh, England.
The podcast one.
Yeah, the podcast.
I'm also iffy on the podcast one.
So in a lot of these things, Lawrence does his Columbo thing. Like, one more thing. You know, like everybody talk. One more thing.
Well, because podcast would be it's a little played out, and it's kind of the punchline of the.
Okay, I will defer to the 8-time winner of the Caption, 4-time 14th finalist guy. I will defer to him on this.
Well, let's keep it. We'll keep it in there right now, and we'll see if anyone can make a case for theirs. So, Bob, I'm going to start with you here because you're first, I think. Any of yours that you want to make a case for here that we might not have?
I sort of like we've got to get a better doorman, but because you know because I'm looking at that part of it, you know, where the door is in there.
I think that one at least that one gives me a chuckle, so I like that one. Positions.
So they're complaining, and you know, no brown M&Ms, anything else.
The old Rolling Stone thing.
That's the nobody expects the Viking expedition doesn't work, but it's a play on the Monty Python.
Right.
Yeah. The quiet quitting is something else. That's
Well, complain all you want. It's still Columbus Day. I don't know.
I mean, the Vikings
were sort of funny.
It's obscure, but it made me laugh.
Yeah. They were first.
Well, I don't think it's that obscure to me. I mean, it makes sense in that.
It does.
In that, you know, it's the Italians in Columbus Day, and now it's the opposite side. That's you know, it's Indigenous Peoples Day, but the Vikings were here first.
Yeah. I didn't know
it's clever. It's intelligent.
Yeah,
and I think it is funny.
Yeah,
but
I'll highlight it as we go through here, and then all right, Lawrence, any that you're.
Well, I'll just tell you the ones that I had that didn't show up on the list. I liked legal wants us to try negotiating with them first.
Well, you're a lawyer.
Exactly. That just could be because
So
I'm a lawyer. I like who's going to tell them we booked the conference room first.
So there were a number. I had one like that also. It was. I thought you. So there were a number like that. Like, you know what I mean. That yeah. So there are a number like that.
And then, as I had said, I thought this round of cuts will be brutal. I think that's good, but
no, that's no good, Lawrence. That's beneath you.
I don't think it's better than
Lawrence, that's beneath you. That taints, as far as I'm concerned, that taints your whole legacy.
Right. Okay, then please.
No, that's just brutal cuts, the pumpkin thing.
No, I agree. It's a pun.
All right, let's not have.
One more. The other one I have, this kind of long, but it did make me laugh. Before my clients kill, rape, pillage, and burn, they have a few demands to avoid any unnecessary unpleasantness.
I didn't like it because it has rape in it.
Yeah, I couldn't choose anything that had rape.
There were a number of those, and I just felt, let's not put that word in any of the captions.
Well, that could really hurt my legacy if I go down as the guy who advocated for a rape show. I agree. That should knock it out.
Yeah.
It have several. I mean, it is a lexicon or trope, rape and pillage, but it's no longer.
Yeah.
Well, we can't have this turn into like what happened to Kevin McCarthy.
I think we'll get out of here today.
Yeah, it's like in the night. It's in the 12th hour. They've come back. We'll come back for another vote.
Does that mean you're making promises, Bob?
I think there was a Kevin. There were some political ones. No one.
Well, you know what? What do we have? We need one more.
Well, we're gonna go back and look. I'm marking off a couple of our so Lawrence,
I'm done.
Is there any of these that you want to hold on when we see if we want to knock one out?
I'm sorry.
What do we have?
We have 6, but we have some of Bob's, and we're just gonna go through to see if anyone wants to fight for one that wasn't duplicated by anybody else.
Well, Joel will, but it'll be the wrong one.
All right.
I've got two that I'm going to fight for that no one else is going to like.
I have just one I liked. I don't know why. I made me giggle, but Whelp looks like the nays have it. Because whenever people do...
What is Whelp?
Well, I don't like the Whelp. Just this week, I was...
that was a crossword answer the other time in a Times puzzle. I didn't even know what it was.
No, just this week, I was in a meeting where people had to second things and bring them up.
Is this some sort of millennial crap that we're dealing with now?
I always feel so ridiculous when it's like, can we second that yays or the nays, and that always makes...
No,
I'm done with that. All right.
That's okay. First of all, what is Whelp?
I don't like that word, Whelp.
But what is it?
It's like a gulp, I guess, a swallow or
yeah. Oh, it's like gulp.
No, it's not quite like gulp. It's
just a. I don't know why. I guess it's an informal version of well. I don't know why you need it, but
yeah.
I hate things like that.
Well, it's a terrible word.
I hate words like that.
Isn't whelp something that you do to raise? You're in Maine, John. Isn't whelp something you do to like raise little creatures?
If you put an H in it, it's a sea creature. Actually,
okay. Kelp.
A whelp?
No, whelp. Whelps are tiny little animals that live in tide pools.
Oh. We ought to bring John in more often. He said,
thanks
for information.
That's the extent of my marine life.
He's obviously a guy you don't want to play Jeopardy with.
Yeah, none of mine gave me a big laugh. Joel, you want to go here?
Well, other than the Danish one, which I quite like, this one I'm intrigued by it. I don't even know if it completely works. Yes, the comma really does change things. I like in context.
Okay, I don't even understand that. What is that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure. This is why I like it.
Wait a second. You're not sure? What is the comma like?
Well, in my head, he's made some sort of a typo, and as a result of the typo, a horde of Vikings have turned up.
Yeah.
Oh.
What we're saying again, he's made
He's made some kind of
and so all these
typo.
people are coming in to do what? To
No,
correct?
nothing. He's made a typo, and suddenly loads of Vikings arrive.
Like-
So he's obviously, but you're not sure what mistake is made. You just know that there's a comma in the wrong place.
Like you put the wrong apostrophe, the word it means something else. It's like something like that happened.
Right.
So
There were
suddenly-
there were a couple like that, and a couple that made it a little clearer what the mistake was. But that's
No,
that
that's
falls into that category of captions where they say,
right.
"No, I didn't mean this. I meant that,"
Mhm.
and that's another category I really don't like.
Wow. I do
Wow.
like Joel's 24 Danish though. I like the end of that. It has a nice punchline.
Yeah, okay, let's do that. Let's give Joel a
Okay, well, I won't fight for any more. I've got something through. That's
All right,
good.
now we have John, and then after John, we'll give his original here. So
Okay, I have to start with a declaration of ignorance. Does WeWork still exist?
yeah,
Uh,
it does still. Yes,
It does.
Oh,
That
oh.
one made me.
our vendors at WeWork. We just went to a party at a WeWork. It's still
Okay, that one made me laugh. But that's otherwise, that's the only one I'll fight for.
but WeWork is too old.
Is it okay? That's what I would.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it still exists, but it's not I think actually it's like a really good caption
Mhm.
if it was when you don't start to ask yourself the question,
right,
Yeah,
right,
but it still exists.
exactly.
But so you in your write up, Lawrence, you can that there are maybe there's something to write about of things that are too soon, like everything now with Chat GPT, and which will soon appear in some cartoons, right?
Yeah.
And it would or GPT or these large language models and AI. So AI will start to appear in New Yorker cartoons. Okay, it's gonna be there. It's been around a while where it'll be too soon, and then maybe it'll be too late.
Too late.
Like a lot of the
Yeah.
like the podcasts, the blogs,
Right.
all of that. But what was your original caption, John?
And this feels very vulnerable saying this. But first, some old business.
Oh.
So,
Oh. Yeah. No, I like.
Oh, I see, some old business.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, John, Lawrence is working on a book, and what is your feeling about the caption contest in general, this one, and also the New Yorker, about how do you feel about it? How do you feel about do you think that sometimes people come up with really good captions for your stuff, and what's your thought about it?
Yeah, I mean, being a selfish, ego-driven cartoonist, I was kind of against the concept originally, but two things. One is that whenever I've had a caption contest in the magazine, I've gotten more response from people than when I've had a regular cartoon in the magazine. And it's been a mixed bag, Bob. It's been, half of them have been great, been, really funny captions, and some of them are pretty lame.
Yeah, which is just like when any cartoonist does their own stuff.
Right.
Right. It's like but I think what Lawrence is writing, that you have some good stuff and some lame stuff, and then the New Yorker often doesn't pick the right stuff, doesn't go far enough down to to see,
Right.
Especially now where it tends to be a lot of puns, which can be good. So where do we end up, Trevor?
Well, I'm going to bring these up here. Let's
Bye-bye.
Let's get rid of one, and then after this, we'll look at the voting.
We'll look at the voting.
So, I think the ones in bold were very confident of being in the final six.
Can you read them out, Trevor? 'Cause I'm
Yeah.
having a little trouble seeing them.
What's not to like? They're highly motivated, work well within teams, and are willing to travel. We think it's clever. No one really laughs. They're in acquisitions. They demand gold, England, and a podcast. If Google Translate is correct, they want our women and our cattle. I have an update on the testosterone trials. I had my doubts about a marauding Viking focus group, but the numbers are solid.
No.
I want to put Joel's in here
Yeah. Don't. I mean, to start off with what's not to like. That's
Yeah.
just clunk. That's
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah.
What's not to like. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. It's you shouldn't write a caption.
Would it work better if we put whelp in there?
Yeah, well.
I do, Bob.
Would every caption be improved with the word whelp? And where could you put it?
Isn't it? I think is it Kathy, the cartoon Kathy? She always says "whelp." I think so.
I think so.
Oh God.
Yeah, well,
Don't know if you want to be making that connection, Trevor.
Right. Right.
okay, so
Chocolate act.
okay, there are acquisitions, the Danish, the demand gold, Google Translate is good. I have an update on that. That's good. I had my doubts about marauding Vikings. That is too long.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, I actually like Bob's complaint all you want. It's still Columbus Day a little bit still. But
Yeah. Do the Columbus. I have my doubts about a marauding Vikings focus group, but the numbers are solid. I don't know. Maybe it's great.
it's not one that you laugh at as much.
Well, I don't know. It just seems like, first of all, it doesn't address the fact that they're there like this. You know what I mean? It doesn't address the fact of these people have rushed in and broken down the door. You know what I mean? It acts like, oh, they're all sitting around calmly, peacefully in that. Yeah, put in that Columbus Day thing.
I'm gonna put that in, and I know we're always against it, but I think some of the puns might actually be good here.
Bob, what about
Which
your doorman caption that you like?
The doorman's pretty good.
Which one?
The doorman?
Doorman, we were thinking.
Yeah, the doorman's one of mine. Obviously good. You forget I was a fucking cartoon editor of the New Yorker? You whelp.
All right, well, what are we taking out?
You insubordinate whelps.
How many have we got?
What do we want to take out here?
Well, hang on. We got the right number. We need
What do
5
we
runners
need?
up and a winner,
We
don't we?
need
So
5,
6.
right?
No, 6.
We need 6. No, we need 6.
So we want to put in
Okay.
doorman.
We got the coffee. We got the acquisition. 3, 4, 5.
I know Lawrence doesn't love the podcast one because we just talked about jokes being too late and too early.
Yeah, I would knock out podcast.
All right.
Yeah, I would knock that one.
Knock it out. Remove it.
I think it's the same reasoning we knocked out WeWork.
All right. Good point. We take it. The chair recognizes the point.
So now we just have to fight over a winner.
Unless there, yeah. So I guess we did. We went through.
No, the winner is Google
Okay.
Translate. That's
That is good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very good
That's
one.
good. That's it brings together a lot of interesting things. I think it just does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but so
That works.
and a very nice drawing, by the way, John. You
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah, it's pretty kind.
me praise you as a professional cartoonist.
Thanks.
Unlike these days.
The few of those that are left.
This one's good.
John, how long have you been a cartoonist? You've been doing this quite a long time.
Yeah, I've been unfortunately.
When did you start cartooning?
I sold cartoons when I was in high school. I used to have a copy of Artist Markets right at my elbow and just, sell all these $10 and $25 cartoons all over the place. So,
Oh, you did.
So
So,
then
that was around what time is this? About what year?
by giving away my age, this is in the 70s. So,
70s. Okay, so that's when the golden age, when there were lots of markets, was the 40s, 50s, and 60s, really.
yeah.
But by the 70s, there was still, there was still. I mean, in fact, I have a copy of Artist Market somewhere still around here. Yeah, so that's very, very good stuff.
Should we take a quick look at the voting?
Yeah, let's look at the voting. The other thing is, My bet is that you have more than this. You have a lot of Viking. Do you have a lot of Viking cartoons?
Oh, yeah.
They're fun to draw. My favorite part of trees was playing that Vikings don't have horns on their helmets. You know, I want to know the person who goes to a caption contest and complains about the accuracy.
Right, right.
We have a lot of pedantic people like that.
Right, and they're not. And they're not.
I think what
And they don't eat
people
Danishes.
have talked
Okay,
about
what
this.
is what the votes?
The number one vote was they want to offer some destructive criticism.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll be damned. They
not terrible, not terrible. But it shows you where how the contests have sort of made, what people like into, okay.
The next
Yes.
3 are all about double booking the conference room.
Right.
I'll be damned they booked the conference room. In all fairness, they did have the conference room reserved. Who's going to tell them we booked the conference room first? So it's, there's a,
Well, we got there in acquisitions.
yeah, this round of cuts will be brutal is one of the more classic puns. Yep. They're in acquisitions. We did include just once. I wish we could have a civilized meeting. It doesn't fit the mood, but that could be good otherwise. And then yes, it looks like they did reserve the conference room. So I think a lot of people have work conference room scheduling problems.
Yeah. Well.
There's Joel's getting some love from the group. So that's 3 copies.
Every time it says Joel's, it makes it sound like I was brilliant enough to come up with it. I wasn't. I just liked it.
Yeah, but it's always good when someone fights for one that wasn't on the initial consensus.
No, Joel, you see, what you don't understand, this is how I made my reputation, not by doing cartoons, but by selecting. You are the important person by selecting the cartoon rather than the person who actually does the cartoon. That's why these are New Yorker cartoons, because they were selected by the New Yorker. I always resented that when I was, not the editor. You did the cartoon, but somehow it was a New Yorker. Somehow it was a New Yorker cartoon. It has been created by them. And it's true in ways, and that the selection by the New Yorker became more important than the fact that what you had done. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so now it shows that we're much superior to the voters once again.
One quick note: there was a ton of Minnesota Viking football ones. No one selected a single one. They didn't do well in the voting. I just wanted to highlight that because there were so many.
Yeah, there's a lot of hostile takeover ones as well, weren't there?
Yeah. So Trevor, can we find out now? Can we announce now who submitted Google Translate?
Of course.
It was just in that last list.
Oh, it was
David somebody.
It was in that list?
Yeah, it was in that what you had on the screen before.
Let me see.
So does Cartoon Collections actually have an office, or is it this totally a virtual
we
existence?
have an office.
We have 2 offices.
Yeah, we have 2 offices.
On
the 29th floor of 10 Grand Central.
Okay.
And if you dress nicely when you come in from Maine, you're in the building.
You know what a variable that could be.
No, yeah, we do have an office. We do have an office, and we actually have an office in Bath also. But during the pandemic, we didn't. But I'm in the office. I'm going into the city a couple of days a week now. So
Okay.
I'm in the office, but I'm the only one on the floor because
the floor is empty.
Everything else sort of got cleared out. Yeah, we do have an office.
So the winner is David.
Actually, Trevor and I had a WeWork office when we started.
That was funny. We were going through. It wasn't private enough, I think. No, the winner is David Meyerovich.
Well done, David.
All right.
So congratulations to David. And
very good. Congratulations.
I'll stop recording here. We'll say goodbye to everyone and then wrap it up.
Yeah, very good. And so, hey, John, it was great seeing you.
Yes, all of you. Nice meeting you. Nice seeing you, Bob.
Nice meeting you, John.
Trevor, thank you very much.
Of course,